are in the home stretch with two teams fighting for the championship. The Yankees go head-to-head with the Dodgers this Friday, marking the beginning of the World Series. Hot topics, championship predictions, and more out-of-the-park discussions. We're covering all bases right here on Touching All Bases. I'm your host, Maura Kane, and right here with me in the bullpen we have our panel, Kaden, Riley, Drew, Katie, and Jackson. First up, we have nothing new, top of the order, and I'm sure you can all guess what we'll be debating. The big market battle, Yankees or Dodgers? Who do you think will come on top?
I say just go down the line and start with Kaden.
Start with me? All right. So I put Dodgers in 6. I was kind of going back and forth on this. I saw a tweet that said that this series is a perfect example that money and evil prevail over all. So anyways, so because I'm going to be positive this episode, I'm not saying anything negative, The Yankees are plus 104 and the Dodgers are minus 122. And Tigervision told me I can't make any comments on bets that aren't legal in South Carolina, but they didn't say that I can't say when to not bet. So I would say to stay away from this one. But my whole thing with this series is basically just that the Yankees historically in this era have not been very good in October. They've underperformed in October. And this totally could be different this year, but I don't think that the Royals and Guardians, I'm not sold on the fact that this is a different team. I think they might have just drawn some pretty easy matchups, and I think they could get a pretty rude wake-up call. So I think there's a world where the Yankees get kind of slapped in the face with October a little late this year, and I think Garrett Cole could win his game, and the Dodgers could take care of business and win in 5. I think if that doesn't happen and the Yankees are for real this year, I think it's a 7-game series, which is what brought me to Dodgers in 6. I think I already showed that. But yeah, that's how I feel.
I also have Dodgers in 6. Main reason is just the matchups, position-wise. Dodgers have the better catcher. Dodgers have the better second baseman. If Kike Hernandez is playing, they have the better shortstop. If Tommy Edman continues what he just did in the championship series, they have the better left fielder, Teoscar Hernandez. They have obviously Stanton and Ohtani. They're pretty evenly matched, as well as Mookie and Soto. But I also believe the Dodgers have the stronger bullpen. Their top 6 relievers have a .84 ERA with a 450 opponent OPS this postseason. Talking about first base, I know Freeman has a bad ankle, but Rizzo also has 2 broken fingers, doesn't he? So they're both hobbled, but I feel like Freeman is the better producer. He's one of the best pure hitters in the game. So I would take Freeman over that as well. But as well, Dodgers have home field advantage, and but if the Yankees do something, the Dodgers pitching can be their downfall.
Absolutely.
If it comes to that, but Dodgers in 6 for me. Yankees fan, by the way.
It pains me to say it. My heart says Yankees in 7, but my mind is telling me Dodgers in 7. And the reason is this Dodgers 5 through 9 has gotten hot right at the right time. Andy Page's decisive 2 home runs in that one game that we saw. And Tommy Edman, he's an MVP now. He had 11-plus hits and 11-plus RBIs, I think it was, in a whole series. And the only thing that I can see where the Yankees win this is if Aaron Judge turns up. And I do have some good stats for Aaron Judge against the Dodgers.
Time to start, per usual. Let's start
Of course.
He's my LCS MVP, man. Sorry to spoil it.
Fair enough. In 10 career games versus the Dodgers, he has gone 14-36, which is a .389 batting average. He has 8 home runs, 2 doubles, 5 walks, and a 1.575 OPS, which is
I'm so happy
really,
for him.
really
Wait, that's in the postseason against them or overall?
overall in 10 games.
That's great,
so
man.
Obviously, that's
Only 10 games?
only 10.
I'm
Only
really
10
happy
is
for
the
him.
factor that I went with here.
Okay.
That is obviously a very good statistics against the Dodgers, but yet again, that's regular season Judge over postseason Judge, and that's been a
Yes.
completely different guy.
There's-
Yeah, and I completely agree with you guys. I am just trying to say stuff that makes it so
Just
that
trying to make himself feel better.
Yeah, exactly.
He's trying to jinx himself. He's trying to jinx the Yankees. Dodgers.
Okay, I do believe
He does
he's
not
trying to use
believe
black
this.
magic here to make the Yankees win.
I think
But yeah, he's got very valid points with Judge versus the Dodgers, so I'll give him that. But
yes, and I do believe also that the Yankees' rotation has been pretty good recently. Rodon put up a good outing with 9 Ks against the Guardians, and Garrett Cole didn't have an awful outing, but he didn't have a great outing.
He was a great
So I have Dodgers in 7. Good luck, Yankees. Go Yankees.
Well, I also have Dodgers in 7. I am not making this panel any more interesting. I apologize. But I'm going to have to agree with Riley that the Dodgers just all around have the best position players. I think the one downside of the Dodgers is their pitching, and most likely at some point they're going to have to pitch a bullpen game. But luckily their offense is just so explosive that they're able to override the runs that they may give up. We saw this in Game 6 versus the Mets. They had a bullpen game, but they were still able to win 5-10. They did let up 5 runs, which is a lot of runs for a game, but they scored 10, so it doesn't matter. So that's why I have it still being a close series, but overall having the Dodgers take it.
Okay, I have, hopefully you can see this, I have the Dodgers winning in 7, and the thing that I'm going to touch on the most is the strength of the postseason schedule. Through, I want to say maybe 12, 13 games through the Yankees postseason, they so far have shown that they are, when it comes to road or away, or road or home, they're the same. It does not matter where they're at. They're going to play the exact same because they are 4-1. They've played more away games than they have home, and they have a 4-1 record when on the road. Obviously, probably one of the big losses, of course, was the loss to the Guardians with David Fry home run in like the bottom of the 10th. But the Yankees, I think, are a very solid team. Their games are very close across the board. That's one thing that I've noticed. 6-5, 2-4, 3-2, 3-1 in the Royal Series alone. For the Dodgers, it's a little bit of a different story. It has either been, with the Padres, somewhat of a close game, a blowout, but for them, it's either been really close or really far apart. And that's been a shining example. For example, scores of 2-10, 8-0, 9-0, 8-0, 10-2, 6-12, and 10-5.
My God.
So
Not a good series.
they either blow teams out or they get blown out. So I think it comes down to which team's pitching is obviously better. Obviously, the bullpen game for them, they still ended up, making the World Series. Both teams have almost the same exact record away and home. The Dodgers are 3-2 away. The Dodgers are also 4-2 at home. So both teams, whether they're at their own stadium or at a visiting stadium, it's almost the same exact record. So I think when, of course, talking about being at their home stadium, this series I really don't think it matters. And I think for this series we're going to see a lot of high-scoring games, maybe even high-scoring games that are close. So I got this series being an absolute offensive blowout for whoever wins it. But yeah, I got the Dodgers coming up because Game 7, I think this is going to be a late, long series. And Game 7's the Dodgers at home, so I've got them winning it all. And my MVP, I'll go ahead and say it, I think will be Shohei Ohtani.
I changed my mind.
Oh.
Hearing everyone
Okay.
Yes, finally a good.
This is ridiculous.
Drama.
Everyone's talking about the Dodgers. I don't know. Just when you hear everyone so I'm not saying we're all so confident, but when you hear everyone confident in saying something like, you're kind of like, this is way too much. Garrett Cole, if it goes to 5 or 6, we none of us predicted 5 games. We all said 6 or 7. So Garrett Cole's pitching 2 games. If Garrett Cole goes 2-0, the bullpen game's a disaster, and Walker Buehler has a bad series.
Which is likely.
I think all of those things. I think there's above 50% chance those things happen on an individual basis. So I picked the Yankees in my bracket, so I'll stick with that. I guess I'm cheering hard for the Dodgers. We're like the inverse of each other.
Between Yamamoto, Flaherty, and Buehler, one of them has to have a stinker. Plus their bullpen game, which I'm not confident with their bullpen games. They haven't looked good recently.
The bullpen's good. The bullpen game.
Like I said, pitching can definitely bring them down. But I was also thinking, with it being LA and New York, they're flying across the country multiple different times. I feel like the Dodgers, with them being on the West Coast, most teams being on the East, I feel like they have more experience, acclimating to the flight, and the Yankees might not. So that could also be a factor.
I think weather could also be a factor because New York in
It'll be
October
cold.
is a lot different
It'll
than
be
LA
cold.
in October.
Absolutely.
It's terrible there. New York in October. It's cold.
All right, well, regardless of who wins, I'm just glad that Jackson learned how to use a whiteboard. Up next is our 3 to C segment, where we'll be sliding into key players, MVPs, and much more. First up, we're discussing the ALCS and NLCS MVPs. Who are your top contenders?
Let's
go. I just wanted to say Watching Tommy Edman in Game 6, I literally saw Eddie Rosario in Tommy Edman. Eddie Rosario from Game 6 of the 2021 NLCS, because I was watching, I was like, literally, that's Eddie Rosario. Because I was looking it up, they both were traded to the team while they were on the IL. So Tommy Edman traded this season, obviously, and then Eddie Rosario. They both unexpectedly exploded in the NLCS and both hit big homers to push their lead in Game 6s. But Rosario hit 590 with nine RBIs and 560 with 9 RBIs in the NLCS, and then Edman hit 409 with 11 RBIs. So I just wanted to say, I thought they were the exact same person, I swear. But you go now.
Oh, I just wanted to say that I think we should put up on the Instagram the picture of Jackson holding the blank whiteboard. I love it. Yeah. And then I'll go ahead and give mine. This isn't necessary. I mean, I wouldn't say this is the MVP, but I do want to give credit to Max Muncy, and more specifically give credit to the Dodgers 5 through 9, because I think he's perfectly represented, like we talked about, like going into the playoffs, that the 5 or 9 to the Dodgers was a weakness that we were kind of concerned about, and that's just not really been the case at all. They've been really good. I think Muncy's been a great example of that. He's led the team in on-base percentage through that series, and when it comes to players not named Shohei Ohtani, he was .178 in terms of on-base percentage ahead of the next best Dodgers starter. So he's getting on base, he's having productive at-bats, and I think he's representative of the on-fire Dodgers 5 through 9.
To back up your point, I have a cool Shohei x Max Muncy stat. Shohei Ohtani broke the Los Angeles Dodgers franchise record for the most times reaching base safely in a single postseason game, only for Max Muncy to take the tie from him right after.
Max Muncy, quietly.
A game after at 17.
Max Muncy is like such a quiet
17.
postseason performer.
Because his name is Max Muncy. Like, that's such a boring name. That sounds like there's The Ringer. It's like a show. They talk about how some guys, when they're bad, like you describe how bad a player is by just saying, like you said, the Green Bay Packers are starting Malik Willis, and like that in a negative way and stuff. You know, like the most healthy 49ers receiver is Ricky Pearsall. Max Muncy sounds like one of those names. Like the Dodgers' 5th hitter is Max Muncy.
Sounds like Ben Rice.
It does sound like Ben Rice.
Ben Rice name.
Donald.
Love me some Ben Rice.
We know.
Kaden, I feel like you would appreciate this little fact, but the Dodgers spent $1 billion total on Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman. But those are not the players that we're talking about right now. We're talking about Tommy Edman, who they picked up, at the trade deadline, was injured. We're talking about Max Muncy. So I think it's really cool to see that, even though these are two big market teams that have a ton of money, it's nice to see that some of their less well-known, highly paid players are stepping up.
Of course.
Yeah. Andy Pages as well. That's about him.
Yeah, another one.
He is good.
Yeah, Tommy Edman clearly was a name no one suspected to be the MVP of the NLCS. I don't think anyone saw that coming. His numbers throughout the divisional series was still pretty good, but they weren't as good. He only had 1 RBI in the divisional series. In the championship series alone, he had 11. So that showcases something about not even just him, but the bottom order of that lineup. And he batted with a .407 average in the NLCS, so obviously very good for him. Really one of the standout bottom 9 guys that came through for them. And like you guys said, the 5 through 9 guys have been coming clutch in for the Dodgers. And yeah, it's just a lot of unknown guys that when you talk about the Dodgers, you necessarily don't talk of, because you mostly talk of your Shohei Ohtani's, your Freddie Freemans. You mostly talk about those guys. So to see a guy come from the 5 through 9 be big for them in the probably the biggest series to get there, to get to the big game, I mean, that's just quite impressive, and also just showcases, I think, in my opinion, the just insane good management skills by Dave Roberts and what he does for that team. And I mean, he's been their manager for years now. So yeah, just Tommy Edman, a name no one is suspected.
Eddie Rosario.
True.
Cardinals.
Yeah.
Played for the Cardinals. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's also what I was asking.
I feel like also if we do go to a Game 7, we could see Yamamoto putting up 2 very good outings and putting himself in the picture. Mm-hmm. Against the Mets, he had 8 Ks, 1 walk, and 4 innings he pitched. If he goes 5.5 innings, 2 games, you could see him in that MVP picture for sure. If he puts up 2 very good outings.
I feel like I have Mookie. I think Mookie has the best shot because he did catch fire in the championship series.
For sure.
For sure. Very fair. I have Max Muncy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually,
It's crazy.
I might have Kike Hernandez. I love me some Kike
That's
Hernandez.
not bad.
He's on fire in October all the time, so he definitely also has a chance. God, that'd be amazing.
If
I
the
love
Yankees
Kike.
start hitting too, I couldn't put it past Gleyber Torres to have some good games as the leadoff. If the Yankees do start hitting, of course, that is heavily reliant on that.
I feel like Stanton,
Yeah.
probably.
Aaron Judge.
I would love for it to be Aaron Judge. Oh,
Me too, man. It'd be great.
Well, maybe we should talk a little bit about Stanton's ALCS performance now.
Oh, please.
As he was crowned the MVP. I'm sure Drew would love that.
Oh yeah, we have another MVP to talk about.
Yeah.
I will start off with this one. I think him getting the MVP I think that was the right decision. I think obviously with 4 home runs in one series alone is really special for one guy. So for him to do that is pretty incredible. But we also got to look at the downside of the 4 home runs. He had 4 total hits in the series. He never got any other hit. He went 4 for 18.
He never touched a base.
He never touched a base without a home run. So it begs the question with him. Yes, he is a clutch hitter. Obviously, he hit 4 home runs on 4 at bats. That's just insane talking about 4 home runs in one series alone. But a .22 average is the downside to that. Clearly, he's deserving of it. Drew even brought up earlier. I want to bring this up. He thinks that Stanton should be a Hall of Fame contender.
That is not the words that came from my mouth. I said we can discuss whether he can be a Hall of Fame contender depending on the amount of years that he has left to play.
And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
I think my thoughts on that are if he does play for another 4 seasons, he slimmed down this season. If he can keep this shape and this form going into 4 seasons, which he would be 38 by then.
So do you think he could do that?
I don't know, honestly.
Honestly,
I couldn't tell you.
Holding on Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm holding on Hall of Fame Stanton.
Okay.
Holding on Hall of Fame.
I honestly think with his career as it's been, I think honestly he's already punched his ticket. I really do. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Did he do anything in Miami?
Miami had a pretty good team back in the day. They had, I think Yelich, Felix Hernandez,
Oh, yeah.
Giancarlo
They did?
Stanton. They had a really good team.
That is good.
But no ring.
No ring, but they blew it all away.
No rings. No rings.
If you're bringing
He
up
has
a guy,
to.
if you're bringing up a guy's name every single year for an All-Star appearance, which Stanton's kind of done, that kind of begs the question. He can
He
make
needs
it.
this one, I think. I think we can have a little conversation if he gets this one and stuff. But I think I would still lean no. But I see your point. I think maybe 2 more pennants in his career, maybe 3 to 4 more seasons. I think that maybe he's all.
Do we see that happening, though? 2 more pennants.
I mean,
Yes.
one more pennant. He has one.
At the rate
I think
that the AL's going, yeah.
If in the Yankees can get one more in the next 4 years, and he sticks around for 4 years, that's one more pennant.
Hey, I really hope so.
Age with that program. It's just age is a big factor for them.
That's true.
Yeah.
We are comparing this guy to Babe Ruth now. He has 1 more home run in the postseason than Babe Ruth.
An
16.
Instagram post.
Overtaken.
Babe.
Okay, keep breathing.
There's one player we can compare to Babe Ruth, and we can do that soon. Yeah. There's one Babe Ruth in this playoff series, in this World Series.
After the World Series, we come back. We'll have that question pop up again.
I'm not comparing him to Babe Ruth. I'm just saying he has more postseason home runs than Babe Ruth now.
Hey.
He has 1 more.
One way it could be similar to Babe Ruth, standing on a base in baseball can be pretty exhausting and stuff. Maybe Stanton was a little hungover. He didn't want to stand on the bases. Maybe he wanted to just hit home runs and sit back down in the dugout. That's very Babe Ruthian, So there's a chance that was, I don't know, maybe a genius conspiracy just came across my mind,
Genius. That's
Genius.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the word I'm using.
He could be stepping up to the plate thinking about how comfortable that dugout is, and he's like, I'm not trying to stand on second base, y'all. And he's swinging for the fences. Yeah.
So comfortable.
I have no idea where that came from, but next we'll be comparing MVP versus MVP, as if these two people aren't already talked about enough. Judge versus Ohtani.
Comparing them, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a debate or something, but I'm just comparing them. Judge beat out Ohtani in the MVP race in 2022 when Ohtani was pitching. And 2024 Judge has been better than 2022 Judge in terms of higher batting average, OPS slugging, less strikeouts, more walks. And then this year, Judge clears Ohtani in every stat. I don't know if y'all know that. Every offensive stat, Judge clears. So, but Ohtani has done more in the postseason than Judge so far. But what I'm saying is Judge has had a better season than Ohtani this year.
It's very strange to compare them because of how different their styles are. But as you said, Judge does have the better stats overall. Ohtani did get the first 50-50 in history, though, which is really
Yeah, that's true.
pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
It's just,
I think I saw,
pretty
I think I
cool
saw
thing.
something.
Like that's the only thing he tops Judges is stolen bases, pretty much this year. Like
I think I
it's kind
saw
of crazy.
that 50-50 ball went for like a lot of.
4 million.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
wow.
4 million. There's like
Wow.
3 people filing lawsuits claiming that they had the ball or whatever. Like that's such a mess.
That's something I would pay for though. If I had that kind of money,
Oh.
like I'd spend up millions on memorabilia like that. That'd be sick.
I mean, that's baseball history, yeah. I mean, I would take it, honestly.
It's not going to someone where 4 million's like make or break for them. Like it's it's someone that's got to be so rich.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, stats aside, I just think it's great that we have 2 big name players finally in the World Series of Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge. They're both getting paid a ton of money, and they have made it to the World Series, which is what these teams have been paying them a lot of money for. And what I think is the best part about this is that even non-baseball fans know the name Shohei Ohtani. They know the name Aaron Judge, and they're going to tune into the World Series, and they're going to watch the World Series because of those big names, where they might not have watched it if it was, say, 2 teams like the Diamondbacks
And the Rangers.
Yes,
Absolutely.
so I'm glad that we just have a 2 big names in the World Series to hopefully draw more attention to baseball, because I think, if you ask most people, honestly, probably even some of us, like, what's your favorite sport to watch? People are not going to say baseball. They're going to say, I think baseball is boring. I can't watch it for more than a few innings. So I think just this drawing more viewership to the World Series is really great for the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely probably the two biggest names, probably 2 of the best regular season guys this year are both in the World Series. So, I mean, that's obviously going to help with viewership and just the game of baseball in general. With the MVP race and with, who I think should get it, when I look for MVP, you could include postseason, but I think when they look at who should be the MVP, they look at regular season. And obviously Judge clears Ohtani and all the stats, so if we're just going off regular season alone, I think Judge should be the MVP. I really do, because yet again, looking at his numbers, that's Ohtani's, not Judge's. He hit 58 homers, batting with a 3.22, an OPS of 1.159. Pretty good. I mean, just insane numbers to think about. And Ohtani, of course, hit 4 home runs less than him. However, in the stolen base department, he absolutely cleared him with 59 compared to 10.
Judge got 10.
What? With those long legs?
Yeah.
Come on.
7.
He needs to try more.
They go for the legs.
And-
He's just not on first base much though.
Oh yeah, he's just he's right. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
he would have more steals than Ohtani if he just hit more singles for sure.
Let's remember, Judge is a tree. If you hit him in the knees, he's going to fall over. he's going to crumple. But, yeah, just with the MVP race and all, if we're just looking at postseason alone, Judge should win it. Should we factor the postseason in? If we're looking at expectations of a postseason, I think Ohtani was projected to probably have bigger expectations in the postseason, with it being his first, and Judge being his like a billionth of been in the postseason, and still producing nothing. Sorry, Drew. So overall, I still think Judge should get it because the stats in the regular season, because postseason ball can be a lot different for guys. So yeah, I think Judge deserves the MVP this season.
Also, I just wanted to say, a point I have is I think the Yankees wouldn't have made it without Judge, but the Dodgers could have made it to the playoffs without Ohtani.
They've done it
The
time and
Yankees
time
wouldn't
again.
be a playoff team without Judge.
No,
Absolutely.
I don't think they would be
Really?
either.
Absolutely.
There's so many decisive moments in the regular
That's a
season.
close little wild card race. I feel like if Judge isn't playing,
I mean,
I feel like I feel like they'd sneak in.
think about it again. Judge has been with the Yankees for years, and they've consistently made the postseason. Ohtani is there for 1 season with the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have made the postseason countless times beforehand. He was added help to their run to the postseason, because even without them, I still think they would have made it. I don't think anyone on this panel, if Ohtani hadn't gone there, that they would not have made it. There's no way.
Something to think about, Kaden. We didn't make it last year.
Yeah, Judge
That's
is
true.
He's
True.
I'll say what I want about Judge. He is a great floor raiser. He's probably the best floor raiser in baseball, I would say.
Floor raiser?
Like, he raises a team's floor. Like, the worst case scenario for a team is raised up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Now, when you get to October,
The floor's been low.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
As a
Like, if I'm like a horrible team, I need one guy, and it's like you make the playoffs or you're fired, I'm going after Aaron Judge.
This is
If I'm trying to
the
win a
regular season
championship, I'm
floor.
probably not going after Aaron.
I can't even
Yeah.
I can show you the postseason floor.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about like James Harden, man. James Harden I think he's the biggest floor raiser in professional sports. And I think they're very similar in terms of you look at the regular season stats, you're like, oh my God. And then the playoffs, and you're like, oh yeah, I love her playing against him. That's nice, you know. But all I wrote for this, I said it's the biggest postseason bust in this generation of baseball versus Babe Ruth if you just replace alcoholism with a gambling addiction. So.
Should we end it off on that comment?
That's all I
I
have.
think we should. What is our
That's
next
so
fantasy,
good.
Maura?
I think we should continue.
All right, let's go.
Thank you, Kaden, per usual. Last but certainly not least, we have, what are your thoughts on the 2-game winning home runs in the last 2 games of the series between the Guardians and the Yankees?
I will take this one. I was watching that series with this man on the couch beside of me. I have
else was
never.
there?
Caden was also there. me and Caden were having a great time watching Drew Stoll.
And we got video.
absolutely-
We got videos sent to us.
We also got videos.
Be on the Instagram.
Can we
With the
actually?
blank whiteboard, it will be there with the blank.
I mean,
Actually-
maybe.
Drew Stoll, after David Fry hit that home run, left his body. He was on the couch.
Oh,
He was pretty much destroyed. But David, if you watched that game 3, honestly, that was one of the best games of the postseason so far. I mean, it was like, 8th, 9th inning, back-to-back. They
Yeah.
were just taking they were just absolutely hitting each other. They were taking punches at each other, and the Guardians just, who was the one that hit the game-tying home run?
Game tying Johanski, Noel.
Yeah,
Yes.
Noel hit the absolute moonshot of a home run to give them the lead, or to tie the ball game.
That was like his 5th game.
I think he had
He had a .67 batting average before
Wow, that's
that
actually,
home run.
that's
that he
actually
hit.
pathetic for the Yankees. That's pretty pathetic.
that is pathetic, but the Guardians put him in there knowing he could do it. That's the thing.
I would like to add to this, going off of a point that I said last week, mentality. Mentality is such a big thing in sports, and it's proved by these 2 home runs. Johanski Noel, who would have even heard of that?
Big Christmas. Have you ever heard that nickname? I first learned that nickname.
I
that
didn't even know that was a nickname.
I got like a
Classic
notification
nickname.
on my phone, and it was just Big Christmas. I was like, who's that?
Big Christmas.
Who is that? I don't know who Big Christmas is, but it's this guy.
That's actually a dope nickname.
It is. Like I'm glad I found out.
I think Netherlands Noel needs to be Big Christmas though, but whatever. And so what if they did free, you know how they did like free Netherlands Noel tattoos last year in the postseason? In the NBA, they were giving out like free a tattoo artist did that in Minneapolis, gave free tattoos. I think if it was free Big Christmas tattoos, that would have been way.
Cleveland should do that.
Darn, missed opportunity.
I'll learn how to do tattoos. I got you.
Okay.
Next time
Oh, okay.
Netherlands Noel's.
Missed opportunity for people to regret that tattoo about 3 days later.
No.
That doesn't happen. That's a
How'd
myth.
we get the tattoo?
It's a myth our parents have.
Okay. Well, that was game 3 of the series. Cleveland ended up taking this game, the only game they took in the series. But for a game to take, that was one heck of a game for them. That was an awesome game to watch. I think a fun game for Guardians fans to watch. They deserved at least one good game.
They deserve the world.
It was a fun game for Yankees fans too. We thought that Judge was like gonna have a decisive moment.
Yeah.
And
He finally did
and then
something.
Johanski Noel, and then
You'd have to
David
wait
Fry.
at least one more game to finally see your guy pull through.
I think
was-
Judge is the problem.
I gave that whole
That's-
speech, and then I went to watch the game with y'all, and Judge hit that home run, and I was like, he's going to have the best postseason career for the rest of his life. Like, crap. He hit that home run, I was like, Aaron Judge he's winning 4 World
He's
Series.
back.
Like, this is
He's
terrible.
back.
Yeah,
You think Judge is the problem?
No, I was just saying because like the game he finally does something, they lose.
No, because I was gonna say a comparison to the basketball player. Who's the basketball player that?
Joel
you said?
Embiid.
James Harden? You're not in the beard, he's not in the system.
No,
No,
we.
I'm
No,
talking about
Joel
Embiid.
Embiid.
Joel Embiid, that's another good one.
Yeah, both of those probably.
But now that doesn't match up anymore because
The answer.
he made it to the World Series.
Yep.
He actually did it well.
He finally did it.
Yeah.
Finally did
Sorry.
it.
Sorry,
Between
Maura.
Aaron Judge, they made it to the World Series. Yeah.
Now, the second game with a game-winning home run was Game 5. So Cleveland had an early 2-0 lead, and then Stanton came back and tied it 2-2, which is honestly probably the reason that he did end up getting ALCS MVP. And then it ended up staying 2-2 until the 9th inning. It went into extra innings, and Soto hit a game-winning 3-run homer in the top of the 10th. Another great game.
That home run, I saw that home run and I was like, he needs to be a Yankee for life. That should be the deciding factor.
Dude, he actually banged his chest.
Yes, like
right near the logo.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Like seeing that, I'm like, that's a Yankee for life. You have to re-sign him after that. Have to. Biggest Yankee homer in 15 years, you have to say.
You're the biggest Yankee homer in 15 years, but whatever. Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
Big Rice take. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Always count on Kaden for odd comments.
Anyway, you have to re-sign Soto after that. That's all I have to say.
I couldn't say more. Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
I just want to say though about that series, the Guardians at home kept it close with the Yankees for the majority of those games. They were not very big scoring games. And the Dodgers, of course, they scored a lot against the Mets and the Padres. So of course,
Yeah, Dodgers let it rain.
that's the question with the Yankees.
Can they keep up?
Can they keep up with the Dodgers offense?
I don't.
Judge?
I don't think they can. That's why I have them in 7.
Yeah, Judge, don't think so. Soto and Stanton, yeah, for sure. Judge, sorry, Drew. I don't think Judge.
No, it's-
cut it out.
I
Fine
feel like
reasoning.
between the two teams and between the players on each team, the Yankees definitely need this more because Mookie already has 2 rings. Freddie already has a ring. Shohei Ohtani, he's already going to be in the Hall of Fame no matter what. He'll get a ring eventually, I believe. But like Judge, Stanton both need rings.
Yeah.
Soto got that crappy Nationals ring in 2019.
Crappy as it may be, he still got one.
Very crappy ring.
It's a ring.
So Yankees definitely need this championship more. But I still got
I mean,
Dodgers.
one guy has probably more rings than the entire Yankees roster combined. I mean, that's kind of sad.
Literally.
Real fast. I do
Yeah.
agree, but let's be weary of the he'll get a ring eventually argument because I feel like you hear that so much.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
you do.
When Joe Burrow lost that Super Bowl, it was like he'll get one
Oh,
eventually,
yeah.
and now it's like we don't got to talk about Joe Burrow on this show, but it seems less likely now.
Just watch Sunday
Yeah,
this year.
anything can happen.
But I feel like
gotta take
this
it
is his first year with the Dodgers, and he hasn't pitched. So like next year he'll be hitting and pitching. That'll boost the Dodgers even more. Possibly.
Season's not over. He could be pitching. this
Caden's
year.
point is just you never know what can happen in a game. And
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
I think Kaden said earlier today, he said like Ohtani should pitch like the last out of the World Series, which
That
I
was
think.
a buy or sell.
Yeah.
We can do this
Yeah.
right now. If you want to do this right now, we
Yeah,
can.
sure.
Okay.
Sure. A little pre-buy
Yeah,
or
a little
sell, buy or
buy or
sell.
sell.
Let's set up a game time situation though, because if they're up by 14, it'd be so cool. Like it'd be like like if in
If
game
they're
4,
up in the series, they have to be up in the series.
If they're up 3-2 and they lead by 2 with nobody on, 2 outs bottom of the 9th. Okay. Should they throw in Ohtani? And let
No.
him pitch that
no,
last?
absolutely not.
No.
Unless it's like a 10-2 ball game with freaking Ben Rice up to bat, then yeah, maybe I'd put Ohtani.
I say no then.
Is he gonna make
I
the
say
roster?
no then because why?
What if he
Why?
wants to? What if he says please?
No.
I say no.
Honestly-
Ohtani has not pitched this entire season, so why should he all of a sudden get to pitch the last out?
Because it'd be so
No,
cool.
I don't think. No, yeah. Honestly, imagine Dodger Stadium. They're about to win the World Series, and you see Ohtani coming out from the bullpen. Just imagine that.
That's going to electrify
Oh
that
my
stadium
God.
and make it a
We'll never.
And then he gets
for the-
re-injured.
for the Yankees.
And then he gets re-injured.
See, my thing is, I literally saw a video on Twitter last night of him throwing a bullpen session like a week or 2 ago, and he looked good. But the only thing is, it would be stupid to put him in a game after he hasn't pitched to batters all year. He hasn't pitched to
Very
a bat.
silly.
He's
Very
pitched
silly.
he's pitched
Yeah.
bullpens, but not live hitting for over a year
I'm
now.
gonna pitch to Mookie before the game a few times. Say Mookie, go
Sure.
stand at home plate. Let me pitch you 5 pitches, and then just
No.
like hey. If you
And then Mookie cranks all
Absolutely.
five.
I think we're all selling. It would be
whatever.
cool in
It would be
theory,
cool. This is why I say
like
cute.
in
If
some
I say
sort of
cute, this would
like
go
dream,
differently.
like alternate dimension, but in real life, no.
In an alternate dimension, we
I
can
think he's ready to pitch, but I think Dave Roberts is smart by keeping him out.
Dave Roberts said that there's.
why would you?
Yeah, why would you sacrifice that?
Robert said there's not a 0% chance he could pitch. There's
I
not.
did see that. That's what made me think about it. Yeah.
But honestly, I'm.
There's not a 0% chance.
Yeah.
So
there's
there's
a 1%
1%
So there's 1%
It's
chance.
not zero.
You're telling me there's a
So if we're up
There's a
25-0,
Please put in Ohtani.
Sure, yeah.
That would be
dude.
fantastic.
Put in Freddie Freeman to pitching at bat 25-0. Like, be like, here, anyone who wants to pitch? That's what they should
Okay.
say. Go to the dugout and say, who wants to pitch? Who wants to pitch?
That's quite the idea.
That'd be so Dave Roberts.
25-0. You wouldn't be pissed if Freddie Freeman walked out. You'd be like, that's hilarious.
No, I mean,
Oh, no.
that happens. Position players pitch all the time.
They do great.
Yeah, Kike does great.
What was that? Didn't that have?
Some do great.
I
There's
saw
some
an
good
Instagram
ones.
reel where someone did really good. A batter this season. Who was that? What happened?
I don't know.
Honestly,
man.
It happens.
most position player pitchers do better than the actual pitcher because
Yeah.
they're so
they're not
off
used to it.
time. Like
Yeah.
the hitters
They're
are
just not
so
used to it,
Yeah,
yeah.
they literally end up doing
When
better.
you're playing Wii Sports and the controller doesn't work and it goes slow and you just swing way too early and you're like, crap. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah,
That's
Well-
a real experience.
I
Now
can,
that we're-
I can relate to star baseball players because of that. Yeah.
Now that we're done discussing our little pre-buy or sell, should we move on to our actual ones?
Yeah, on that note, we actually have an open position on our panel. Kaden will no longer be allowed after these odd comments, so if you're interested, we're taking applications. To close out our show, we have, you guessed it, buy or sell. Our first topic of the segment is Alonso's playoff performance earned him a contract with the Mets.
I forgot to write it down.
Well, I'm prepared, so I'll go first if you can, hopefully you can see it this time. I will take buy on this. Even though, of course, Alonso had a little bit of a slump this year with his stats and all, they were still really good. Including his kind of postseason play, I would still consider him to go. In the postseason, he batted .273 with 4 home runs and a .999 OPS. I think when it came down to re-signing him, I think it was going to be his production and his numbers in the postseason. And obviously, when I think about his postseason, I go back to that game-winning home run against the Brewers. That's what I kind of look back on. Is he still clutch? Yes, he's still got it. So I think for sure, and obviously, his success got the Mets to a championship series. As much as I am a Braves fan, and I hope they waste money on him, which most likely they will. The question is, does he deserve a long contract, and how much should it be? I think obviously he's going to ask for as much money as he can get, whether that should be a lot or just the minimum amount they can give him. I don't know. Do I think he's got a long time left in this league? I would at least give him like a 2 to 3 year contract on this. But yes, I do think if the Mets want to win a World Series, I think keeping that team together is their best way to do it. So, bye.
I'm selling this. Don't get me wrong. I want them to re-sign him. I want them to waste $30 million a year on him. Absolutely, please do it. But should they? No, because his last 2 regular seasons have been not good. Last year batted .217. This year batted .240. He had his worst home run total of his career with their only. I'm saying only 34, but like for Pete Alonso, only 34 is kind of like
Low number.
Yeah, but he had a good rookie year. He won Rookie of the Year, but ever since then he's declined. I feel like. I think he's good for $22-25 million a year, but he's going to be asking for 35. What was his projected contract? 250.
7 years, about 250.
That's $35 million a year. That is absolutely not what Pete Alonso should get. I think the Mets could easily get a Christian Walker for cheap and have the same production.
I am sell for actually. Riley took the words from my mouth.
I apologize.
The dollar amount is what gets me. That 35 million, I don't think.
Mets will do it. The Mets would do it.
Not even worth 7 years, honestly.
I think there's other players that are on the table that the Mets can pick up that would fit their project. Not the same way as Pete Alonso, but a similar way as Pete Alonso can, for sure.
I'm going to go ahead and buy and disagree with y'all too. I do agree with y'all in the aspect that do I think the Mets should sign him? No. Do I think they will? Yes, I think they do. You know, we said $35 million. The Mets are known to throw money around. I could see them doing that. And while he definitely did have a down year, I don't think his stats are necessarily like decreasingly lowering. You know, obviously he had his great rookie year where he had 53 home runs. But since then he's had 16 home runs, but that doesn't count because he was injured that year, didn't play most of the games, but 37, 40, 46, and then this year 34. So obviously that's nowhere near 53 as his rookie year, but those are still an enormous amount of home runs to have in one season. So I definitely think that knowing that the Mets are just willing to kind of throw around money and that he somewhat has the stats to back it up, I definitely think that he will stay and end up as a New York Met.
I actually agree with you. I think his playoff performance has what am I trying to say? Pete Alonso's performance hasn't earned him a contract. However, they will still give him a contract.
I agree with that.
One
Yeah.
one good month should not earn a $30 million contract.
That's exactly
one
right.
month.
It has happened several times though. there's
Mets
no-
absolutely could do that.
Players re-sign their players that prove themselves.
That's
relatively.
kind of my argument too. It's why I'm selling as well, but I'm buying on the fact that they're going to do it. I think you have to think at the end of the day, like, I've heard someone say this, and I forget who it was, but a lot of people say this, you know? GMs and managers and coaches in sports, they want to keep their job first and win second. And so I think that it's just easier to explain yourself when you say, hey, this guy was on fire and we gave him a big extension versus like, this guy got hot and we let him go. It's a more fireable offense. It's the same reason why guys like Kirby Smart and like more well-known coaches can get like smaller and like more like undersized players and stuff, and it seems like they always have like these undersized diamonds in the rough. It's just because new coaches, if you bring in a 5'9" receiver that's 180 pounds, he sucks. Then people are going to get mad at you. If you bring in someone who's 6'4", 220, you can say, oh, he was a diva and he wasn't very good. That wasn't our fault. It was, you know, it was his personality and stuff. And it's similar in every sport. And I just feel like if you just re-sign the guys to get hot, it's just easier to explain to the managers or to the owners, and it's easier to keep your job. But obviously, I think the worst value contracts you get usually is just guys that get hot on a contract season in the playoffs. In the NBA, NFL, and MLB, when you look at the worst, you're like, why's Tobias Harris making $30 million a year? You know, you're just like, oh, he got hot in the playoffs, you know? Oh my gosh, yeah, it can be terrible.
And
Van Vliet.
I don't know who's in the market for Alonso. Like, I don't know who's trying to get him or not. But I don't think any other team will match what the Mets will offer. I don't think that if the Mets are smart, they won't offer a lot, but I don't think any other team will offer more than the Mets. So I think he will eventually go to the Mets just because it's the higher price.
You also got to think about it this way. If going back to what Kaden said about a manager's feelings on this, of course they're going to want to keep their job first and win second. Their mentality, of course, is going to be, okay, what did Pete Alonso do in the postseason? He got us the championship series. He almost got us the World Series, and he was a pivotal part. So, yes, I think they're going to re-sign him just for that, because a lot of the time when you see with like big-name signings, or so I say, small-name signings that get big in the postseason, they always get big contracts. Postseason's a big booster in getting big contracts, and obviously they're going to keep Pete Alonso because, one, he's been their guy for years. Everybody loves him. I mean, they call him Polar Bear. I mean, that's a pretty cool nickname, I would say. And also, of course, the manager and the general manager is not going to want targets on their back if they let go of Alonso. Because of what if he gets productive again? What if this postseason was a say of, hey, I'm back? Yeah. If they let him go and he goes rakes for another team,
goes to Atlanta. That's in division.
Oh no,
my
please!
God.
I don't want him.
No. Be real fast. If you're the Mets, manager. I don't even know who picks contracts, dude. If you're in charge of that and you're giving him an offer, what's the highest y'all are willing to go?
$25 million.
Years and salary.
27, 3 years.
3 or 27? What do you think?
Say 25, 5 years.
Okay.
25.
25?
Yeah, he's only 29 years old.
Yeah.
So I feel like going to his 34, 35 year season, 5 years, 25 million.
Yeah. 4 years, 25 years. I'd say 4-year, $100 million deal is the highest I would go.
The question with that, though, is some guys dip at like when they hit around age 30, production starts to dip, and he's already started dipping at like 28, 29. So that begs the question.
But I feel like with your $100 million deal for 4 years, I can't see Pete Alonso getting that because Pete Alonso is Pete Alonso. Sure. And if I really see a $100 million deal for 4 years, I'm gonna be like, is that some role like position like random player? That's just not Pete Alonso money. But it shouldn't be Pete Alonso money, but it's going to be.
They're gonna give him all-star caliber money.
Yeah, even though he doesn't deserve it.
And I think that the Mets are going to want to sign Alonso as a Met for life because they just saw Aaron Judge get the contract to be a Yankee for life. And I think kind of in the same way, he's their big slugger. Aaron Judge is the Yankees' big slugger.
Same level.
Another Yankees slugger that could possibly go to the Mets is Soto. Soto maybe. Yankees re-signing Soto.
Please don't.
Hopefully.
This
I hope.
has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No, but I'm talking about Soto going to the Mets.
Night, yeah.
Pete Alonso could be in the picture for the Yankees.
I was not talking about Pete Alonso.
Pete
Alonso.
She just said that Pete Alonso and Aaron Judge are the same level of player. That's all Katie said.
No,
I'm talking about
Would you seriously see a Yankee going to a Met and a Mets going to a Yankees? Do you really see that happening?
Yes.
And
But not this. These are weird
Okay,
conversations.
one,
Wait.
they are not going to get rid of Soto.
What is Rizzo's contract? Is he a free agent? Because
That would make
That's a
sense.
good
Kidding about that.
All right. contract.
Guys.
Let's see. Oh, according to AI, it's a 2-year, $40 million with a team option in 2025. So they got a team option coming up.
Wait.
Okay.
$20 million. Are they going to give it to him? I don't know.
Honestly, after this postseason, honestly, I think that option.
Rizzo's been
would
injured a
take it.
lot.
That was my point, though.
Dude, say no to
That's why.
That's right there, why I'd keep Soto. Rizzo's been getting hurt. You keep Soto. Honestly, if you get rid of Rizzo for Alonso, that could be a good trade-off.
Okay, but no way the Mets let the Yankees get Soto and Alonso.
No.
Mets would not let that allow
That's
that.
like the dream
But
idea,
will
but
they
they're
have
not
a
going to let that
choice?
happen.
What is their option?
But give them more money than the Yankees. That's their other option.
I think the Mets will outbid the Yankees for both
Yes.
players.
The Mets will outbid the Yankees.
It'll be
but
up to Soto if he wants to stay in the Bronx. Or
Mets,
Queens.
I think, are going to outbid the Yankees.
will.
But who would you want to play for? Mets or the Yankees?
Yankees.
Yankees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Point.
That's
Well-
the Kirkland Yankees. Yeah. So you know.
Talking about big name Yankees player, Maura, what's our next buy or sell?
Nice.
Next up, we have Giancarlo Stanton is a new Mr. October.
I'm just going to take this. I'm selling on that. No, I do not think Giancarlo Stanton is Mr. October, or the new one, should I say. Reggie Jackson's Mr. October. I'll just say this. Outside of the home runs and the clutch hitting, yes, you could probably make a case for Giancarlo, but the other half with the .22 average that I touched on earlier, I don't think that's enough. When I think about, y'all are going crazy over there.
Sorry.
When I think about a Mr. October, I think about clutch hitting, a big name guy, and I also think about getting on base and just having overall great stats across the board. That's not what he's done because he went 4 for 18. Because besides the home runs, we got to look at it. He still went 4 for 18. So he was hitting with a .22 average. So, yeah, I just don't see him being Mr. October. I really don't. He has one great series where he hits 4 home runs. I mean, no, I just don't see him being a Mr. October, so I'm going sell.
I am also going to go sell. So Reggie Jackson got the name Mr. October after he led the Yankees to a World Series with Dodgers. Who did Reggie Jackson play for? the Yankees or the Dodgers?
He played for the Clippers in the 2020s. Yeah.
What?
There's a Reggie,
Okay.
there's a Reggie Jackson. You know that. Yeah.
It was the Yankees or the
Oh,
Dodgers.
you're
It was
right.
that series.
That's
But
my
anyways,
Reggie Jackson.
he led whatever team to win the World Series because he had a 3 home run game where he hit that home run all on the first pitch. And that is what named him. Who did he play for?
A lot of people.
Oh.
A lot of teams.
Well, it was the Yankees when he won the World
That's
Series.
what we knew that.
So I was right.
I
was
knew
right.
that, obviously.
We knew that.
Yankees were no. Okay.
Okay. Fun fact, Reggie Jackson did play for the Clippers.
NBA Reggie
Jackson
Jackson.
played for the Clippers.
Okay.
Carry on.
Well, anyways, let me finish my point. Reggie Jackson had that insane game, which led the Yankees to win a World Series, and that is what gave him the name Mr. October. Sure, Giancarlo Stanton might have better postseason numbers currently than Reggie Jackson overall, but he has not had that one standout game where he hits 3 home runs all on the same first pitch. So unless he can do that this World Series, he is not Mr. October and will never be.
I'm also selling. We're giving the name Mr. October to anyone these days. We're giving it to Bryce. Bryce Harper did the same thing as Stan's doing in 2022, and they're calling Harper Mr. October.
Still didn't win.
So, that's what I'm getting to. We can give Kike Hernandez the name Mr. October because he's raking in the postseason. Yeah, he tied Ruth in postseason homers. So did Judge. Is Judge Mr. October? No. These are all. These are all.
He's Mr. October player, I think, in baseball.
These are all like impressive stats, but like to be Mr. October, you have to win a ring. If he wins a championship this year, sure, he can be Mr. October, but right now, no, he's not.
Piggybacking off that, I wrote on my board, what is a Mr. October? Because I do feel like it's been a diluted phrase. Like, I feel like Mr. October, because I agree with what everyone's saying. Like, Reggie Jackson was the original Mr. October. And if the whole criteria is just like the best playoff player in baseball, and yeah, I don't think Stanton's Mr. October, but I feel like if Bryce Harper's Mr. October, if everyone who has a good October is Mr. October, then sure, yeah. I think he's had a good month, and it's been productive. and I don't know what Mr. October is.
I mean,
So
the
I'm
argument
gonna
is that he's had a lot of good Octobers.
Yeah, of course, he
but
has.
no ring to show for it.
But piggybacking off that, just real fast, I think that I think he's gonna have a great series though. I looked up a little bit. I looked into his stats against the Dodgers, and through 25 games, which is a lot more than 10, he's averaging. Oh, you got it. You got it. I already talked. You got it.
In 25 games at Dodger Stadium, Giancarlo Stanton has a .309 batting average, 9 doubles, 10 home runs, 26 RBIs, and a 1.086 OPS.
Among players with at least 100 plate appearances in the playoffs, he only sits behind Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and Randy Arizona in slugging percentage.
Your last name.
Okay. Besides a Rosarena, that is very good company
Yeah,
to
man.
be in for sure.
Besides
Lou
a
Gehrig's a
Rosarina.
tall tale. He's not real. I mean, Babe Ruth is actually a tall tale. He's like a Paul Bunyan. The closest, and like.
Was
the
Babe
closest
Ruth
things we have
real?
is close to that.
It was Babe Ruth.
Dude, he's the Helen Keller of baseball.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard that before.
Babe Ruth, the Helen Keller of
Oh.
baseball.
We
All the
have to get
stories
on
are
Brian's
made
show,
up,
Be
man.
For real, and talk about that.
Dude, Helen Keller's not real is the most basic, like, hot topic thing, but I'll bring it up for sure.
No.
Okay.
She did not fly a plane. We don't have to talk about that right now.
We're bringing up Helen Keller on a baseball show.
Okay, let's
I'm sorry.
continue.
I think that calls
Jackson,
for
we need to move on, all right?
Yeah, all right, we need
our
to move
next
on, guys.
point, which is
You can always count on you guys for going off topic, but finally, a little throwback. We have the Dodgers 2020 World Series counted.
Okay, I'll start. I'm gonna buy. It did count. It's fun to say no just because it's the Dodgers. But if we're being real, everyone had the same chances. The Braves choked a 3-1 lead in the National Championship Series that year. We would have if we have made it to the World Series, we would have counted that.
Yes.
What else? I do believe they definitely need another championship in this window with these players to be able to take that 2020 World Series seriously. If they lose this World Series, it's going to be hard to
questionable.
buy. It's going to be hard to buy this question next year.
Well,
it's a very easy point. It's
I'm also gonna buy.
Why don't you all hold it up?
Yeah, we're all
all
buying.
buying.
We're all buying.
But I feel it's controversial for a lot of people. For like,
No, it is.
what is that?
It's just
what?
controversy. Like, well, that it was Mickey.
it was 6
Yeah, they just say it's like a
Because it was-
junior World Series.
No,
Like,
yeah.
You know, it wasn't
I'm
real.
surprised we're all
The
buying.
ol-
I
the
thought it was a
only
good
No,
question.
honestly,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
am
I don't think it's a good
surprised.
I think the
question.
only
I'll
reason
say
why
it.
people call it, maybe it wasn't a real season
Because it's the
was because
Dodgers.
of because of 2020.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, that season was, 50-something games compared to like
Yeah, it was 60
162.
games. Yeah.
You could make a case for that, but yet again, they,
thought it was 60
still played every. I think it was 50 or 60. It was in that
Okay,
number.
okay.
Not a lot.
It wasn't. It was obviously not even half a season worth
No.
of games. So you could make that case, but yet at the end of the day, every single team had the same chance to win, and the Dodgers put it on top. Obviously, as a Braves fan, we can say that wasn't a real World Series. But if we take
No, we can't. That's so.
I
'cause
know.
If we won it, we would have said it.
If we would have won it, if Braves fans would have won it, we would have called it a real World
I'm
Series.
so
That's
glad
just
we
how
won
it
the
is.
next year. Like, I'm so glad we
Oh,
choked that
yeah,
year
I-
and then
yeah.
still won the
Oh, it
next
felt
year.
so good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That series.
I don't believe in the phrase Mickey run because of this specific reason. The worst MLB player could smoke anyone in a game. I believe every single MLB
absolutely.
team is great.
They all had a fair shot.
I mean, even the worst.
Not what
I know what you're going for. I know what you're
Clemson
going
baseball could be this year's White Sox.
Honestly,
for. Let's do that.
That's a good buy or sell. Next episode, that's going to be a buy
honestly,
or
once
sell.
the season starts,
No one-
first series, we need to see if that's true.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I had something I was going to say,
Okay.
but it's not coming back to me.
Oh, okay.
So, someone talk. Someone's got it. In 2020, the Dodgers won the World Series. Oh, I got it. All right, bet. So, Mickey Mouse ring is annoying to me because I feel like you can put asterisks on so many championships in all sports.
2017.
I mean, do you know how many World Series the Yankees have, Drew, off the top of your head? No. All right. Well, no.
Wait, what?
The Yankees have a lot of World Series.
27.
27 World Series.
You don't know that?
Yeah, I'm a little
This
disappointed.
is not a Yankees fan.
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. He's a Dodgers fan. He's undercover.
Okay.
27 World Series, and they have a lot where there was no playoffs, and they just went right to the World Series. I think those count, but I'm saying if you want to throw asterisks around on the 2020 World Series, you can go over to the 1920s when they weren't doing divisional rounds, they weren't doing playoff rounds and stuff. And I'm not saying they should do that. I think every championship should count. I'm just saying there's so many sports have gone a long way. There's so many different sports, and things like a COVID pandemic happen if you're doing a sport for 100 years. And I think it's just easiest to just say, hey, if they're going to award a champion, let's honor and respect that.
No matter what the season, what problems happened or whatever happened, they still had the same opportunities as every other team, and they were the ones that come out on top.
Exactly.
Agreed. And also the playoffs, that wasn't shortened at all. It was just the season. The playoffs were still the exact same. So maybe if the Dodgers made it in during the shortened season and then they did not make it into the playoffs in the long seasons because they just couldn't stand the test of time, I could be saying like, oh, it's not a real reason because they wouldn't have gotten there otherwise. But they get to the playoffs every year. So whether they got to the playoffs in a shortened season or a full game or a full length season, it doesn't matter.
I think
It's not just one fluke season. It's continuous seasons of making it each year.
That's a really good
But I mean, I think it's controversial because they only won in a shortened season. The other they've made it to the playoffs, but they've choked divisional round twice. Yeah, they finally made it this year. That's why I'm saying they need to be able to prove they can win in a full season.
Yeah.
Choked once. They just
No.
ran into the Braves once,
Yeah.
Powerhouse.
Can't.
Lost against the Astros.
Sometimes you just draw great teams, and sometimes you draw the Astros.
Well, that was
The
rude.
stray is crazy.
That was rude.
I mean, she just
This
made a
is the
joke
best
saying
show we've
that
ever had.
the Dodgers lost the Astros. I could make the same case for the Nationals.
This is the best show we've ever had.
Well,
Everyone's targeted.
Yeah.
On that note, that's a wrap for today's show. We'll be back next week with more playoff action and home run hot takes. Thanks, as always, to Zach and Connor in the studio and our panelists for stepping up to the plate. Catch you next time on Touching All Bases.
I like the puns. Those were good.
I'm so glad the